Hello, my loves, and welcome to But That's Another Story with me, Dara. This episode was so colorful, energetic, pom-pommy. That's my new word now. The wonderful Joe came and he spoke a little bit about his life. And without giving too much away, he's the pom-pom guy. He's Pom-Pom Joe. And he's currently working on the world's largest pom-pom, right? Now, if that's not enough to get you hooked, I mean, the conversation we had obviously went in many directions. Let's just be honest. As it does when I do a podcast, we rarely stick with the one side. But it was really, really wonderful to get his thoughts on a lot of different aspects. And I really found the episode inspiring. You know, I just love to see people that are courageous, that are willing to give up the life they have or had or knew and to just go out there and try other things. And if there's one thing I'm sure about is that Joe is like this endless force of energy who will always forge his way in the most fun, creative and artistic way. So, guys, enjoy. It's been so much fun. I'd say this is probably one of the funnest episodes I've done. It just, life is so nice, wasn't it, back then as well? Just the kind of deeper human connection, I guess, which is also something you're into, which is something I look for as well. It's also my kind of mission and what I'm doing with this here too. Mm-hmm. It's finding a way to build, especially around these social media days now, where everything is online. Mm-hmm. A lot of things have kind of become more superficial, I find, you know.
You say?
And, I think to bring it all back and to just kind of focus on the moment and what's important and conversation and connection and it's you are someone who's also really, I suppose, you're a people person too, I guess.
Yeah. Through and through.
Yeah.
I crave it.
I
need it. I rely on it.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely searching it out all the time. Even in those little micro moments.
Yeah.
You know, when I visit the States, I'll leave the hotel so I can hit the Walgreens or the, kiosk.
Yeah. Just
for that interaction, which is nearly guaranteed to have that little moment of levity, a little sparkle of laughter, a little giggle.
My friend, the artist, she drew the painting you see there. Oh, yeah. I suppose she's a street artist at this stage. That's kind of what she focuses on mainly. She went to New York for a couple of months. She's trying to basically get a visa there. Mm. And I remember she called me and she was like, Dara, this is my home now. I love it here. I need to be here. The people, the vibe. She's very like me as well. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh my God, you would adore it here. Like the people are just out there and they want to, and people can just be themselves.
Yes.
They can just walk down the street wearing the craziest stuff and people are like, wow, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's almost this utopia for artists and creative people to just live in this place where every time they step foot on the path, it's like inspiration in your face, you know, and creativity. And I suppose this kind of lack of boundaries around art and creation as well. Mm-hmm. Is that New York?
It is. I mean, I thrive by listening to new music. I love that newness, that unpredictable moment of what's coming. And that's New York in a nutshell. So that energy of unpredictability, whereas you go down the street and you never know what you're going to see, hear, smell. It's just the senses are on fire there. And it's funny because when I stay away for a while, I forget somewhat. And when I was there last week, I was walking very early, getting my coffee, shaking off, this body clock scenario. So I'm the first one up, and I'm hitting the streets. And this guy walked past me and he says, oh, I haven't seen a baseball tee like that in a long time. Whoa, man. Oh, and the kicks, what? It's so early. Slow down, bro. And I thought, is he trying to rob me? What is his deal? But he was just being friendly, just being sweet and nice.
Do you feel like being in Germany for that time has also kind of turned you into more of an, like, not introvert, but has kind of, I suppose, toned you down as a person a bit?
It comes in waves. Yeah. There'll be like some of these moments where I forget who I am and I just kind of wait at the red light when there's nobody standing there.
Oh my God, I do that all the time.
Yeah. Yes. And I think, wait a second, why am I, what?
Oh my God,
This
it
ain't
sticks with you. Those are the things that really stick with you. And I noticed that when I was in England. I remember that was one of my main issues, was crossing the road.
Mm-hmm.
And all my friends were like, what are you actually doing? I'm like, it's red. How can you go? And they're like, what is wrong with you? And they're like, yeah, you're German. We forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you grew up, and I made this big mistake by assuming you grew up in New York, which was very wrong of me. You were born in Brooklyn, but you grew up in Chicago.
Primarily. However,
Yes.
in South Florida, I hit the streets at the tender age of 16, so I certainly wasn't finished growing.
Wow.
So it was a bit of that as well.
Incredible. Like, how did that shape you? Because I would just, not knowing America in any way, would suspect that these areas are so different to each other.
Oh my God, dramatic. So,
Wow.
yes. And I was a nonconformist when I hit Florida because I did not want to go.
Oh,
I mean, 16, that means I just finished junior year in high school. And this is no joke. 3 days later, we were on a plane to move to South Florida. So I had to leave my girlfriend, my best friends, the best, what I considered life at that time, you know, dancing on the weekends and having the best time. Oh my God. To this barren landscape that I knew no one at. And, you know, mind you, I'm a little older than a lot of, you know, folks. And there was no free long distance. There was no internet.
Yes.
So it was like, that's it. Unplugged.
All your friends.
Off the grid. Gone, spending the summer like that, you know?
Oh, no.
So I was a bit resentful, you know, towards my parents, just a tad bit. My sister as well. And we would just go to the dollar movie theater and just kind of ponder life and just wonder how we're going to make it through this because it was so hot. And, you know, we're coming from the Windy City and it just felt like this 90210 nightmare to us, you know?
God. I think we kind of, in Europe, we fail to understand just how big America is.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the times when we say America, we almost picture it like Germany, right? You've got like New York here, and then you've got all the little pieces like spread around. But like, no, you know, and I think we don't understand here that it's almost the same as Europe in a way, that America is so vast that you have so many cultural experiences within the one country, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's why, you know, this whole idea of Americans never leave America. I used to feel like that was a bit, you know, maybe like we should, you know, why don't we have passports? But now I understand it.
Yeah.
I get it. There's plenty to see and do there in the United States. And it is very different from one place to the next. So it can keep you pretty busy if you're into traveling.
Was like, I suppose your experience growing up, was it very artistic, or where is the artistic influence? Where did that come from? Like,
I kind of turn back to a very early time in my life. My mother was very nurturing and has always been. She's kind of like a guiding light for not only me, but for many. But there was a time where she would just sketch with me my toys. And I'd look at these finished sketches and think, whoa, what is this magic? How do you make this look like my toy? And it kind of set me down that road where I started, you know, sketching as well, and never stopped, you know. So I credit her. She used to also paint these like porcelain Sesame Street figures, things like that. And it really set me off down that path. It wasn't, I suppose, what I considered artistic or art or anything really. It was just an activity, you know, that I enjoyed. And later in life, I suppose when you start getting paid or you get jobs associated with it, then it's like, oh, am I an artist? I guess.
Yeah.
But it just seems so natural to me.
Yeah, I suppose it's just, and that's something I'm quite jealous of when people have that, right? Where they almost develop into the role no-brainer, you know? Like my friend, she was like, at one stage, I think she was about 14, she was like, oh yeah, I'm really good at drawing and I take drawing classes. And then now she's obviously an artist, but it was like almost an obvious situation.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, it was like I kind of had to go away and fail in all ways possible to kind of understand what I should be doing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I just find that interesting when people have that kind of foundation, you know. Do you think then moving around as much as a young person, did that inspire you a bit as well? Or I suppose, did it kind of just unlock the creativity a little bit more? Or because seeing these different lives and...
I think so. Not only just moving around, but also I've had a great number of jobs. I've been employed very many different times. So we're talking around 70 different jobs. And the bulk of that happened before I was 22, 23. So I'd go from one job to the next 3-month period, 3-month, 2-month. And I never shied away from that. I actually enjoyed the first day most of all, that unpredictable scenario. And I think, rubbing elbows with so many different types of people through that journey is what kind of shaped it more. So kind of like traveling, but, with the human connection, and people do represent different cultures, different, ideas, different concepts. And so I think it's akin to traveling, when you connect with people. It's like traveling.
Do you think then like these jobs would have been important for you, I suppose, in your development as an artist or as someone who is then in a freelance position? Because that's always a discussion that I have with some of my friends. A lot of them say, no, you shouldn't waste your time on jobs that are like unnecessary. You should go straight into what you love and put all your focus on that. Whereas I always disagree and I say, well, yeah, but I think it's also important to have that corporate experience and that corporate touch, because no matter what you do, I guess you won't be able to avoid the corporate aspect, right? Even if you are an artist, you're going to be working with corporate businesses. So it's always going to be beneficial for you, I suppose, in a way, to understand what the process is with those people there, So those 70 jobs, were they like, I suppose you're kind of like McDonald's drive-through?
4 hours at McDonald's.
No way!
That was how long I was employed there.
No way!
Yeah.
And then they were like, no.
I was like, no.
No, you were no, yeah.
Oh my God, I was like, no.
Yeah, because, I've had some of those jobs as well where even people have said, yeah, no, I don't think you're right for this. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't think I am.
It's never really the job, to be quite frank, though. It's the people. It's always the people. The people will make me stay or the people will make me leave. But the job it's so irrelevant to me. The focus is the people. And that's honestly what I don't get around with customer service here, because if you're going to be at the register and you're just going to look down, you're missing out on a really amazing opportunity where you can actually engage, have that moment, walk away from your job feeling like you're the king or queen of the world because of that fun, that joy that was, exchanged. And it's just lost. It's lost here, and I don't get it.
Oh
because
my God, you're the first person. Yes.
I never felt like I worked for my employer. I worked for the customer.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God.
And worked with my colleagues. The employer, the job, what we're doing, product, service, so irrelevant.
Yes.
Even when I teach English is like, it's secondary.
Yeah, we don't. It doesn't actually really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
It's having fun together.
It's going to happen.
True.
Yeah.
Oh my God, thank you so much, because I feel like that's always something that I felt. Yeah. And people have always kind of looked at me and I'm like, yeah, but and that was an experience I had in one of the corporate jobs I did too, where it was getting to a point where a lot of the people that I liked were leaving. And I remember people said like, Dara, you really need to think about this now, because you don't want to be the last person, And again, it was never about the job. It was the community. It was the people. It was the kind of after work banter, in work banter, the chats at the coffee station, Ah, yeah. And I feel like we're missing that here.
Big time.
Yeah, big time.
And it's kind of tragic, It's so fulfilling, and it's there for the taking. It's absolutely cost and low. So I just don't get it.
You get a bollocking. That's what you get.
And then on the other end of the spectrum, sometimes people do warm up to that here. So I'll go in, do a little song and dance number at the bakery. And, either they're going to just be terrified or they're going to gravitate towards it. And sometimes they gravitate so hard. Whereas now every time I walk in, it's like, that's the guy. Start singing now, right now, sing. Like, wait a second.
Oh, that is brilliant. That is absolutely brilliant.
Because the ones that want it are hungry for it, because we're in a bit of a barren landscape, And those that don't want it, they're just not having it.
Do you think that's also, I suppose, kind of your upbringing? Maybe it is the Brooklyn as well, just being aware that it doesn't really matter. Like, it's about fun. It's about self-expression and enjoyment primarily, you know? Do you think that's what it is as well? It's that infusion of just life, you know?
I guess I feel like my trajectory, a big component of it that contributes to that dynamic is I was bullied unmercifully, like as a kid. Like I had it rough. I went to Catholic school until the fourth grade, but that was fine. It was insulated. I wore the uniform. I played with my toys at recess. The transition to public school, that's where I got the reminder that reality can be tough. Yeah, I was picked on hardcore. I had no clothing. I was wearing, monochrome sweatpants from Kmart and Velcro sneakers. I didn't get it. I wasn't aware of that scenario of like being cool or girls or boys. Like I didn't get any of that yet. Yeah. So I was really bullied hardcore, and it took me probably a year, maybe two, to suss out a way out of that, and that was to just be funnier than the bullies. So they'd come at me, and slowly I figured out a way where I turned the tables, where their friends were laughing at my jokes more so than theirs. And so all of a sudden they started coming to my side, and then I started getting invited to sleepovers from these people that like literally made me miserable, and they became my best friends. And then I arched out of that too. I thought, well, I get it. I don't like these people, you know what I mean? Now that I've gotten to know them. But what I learned through that process was that this ability to take the worst case scenario and make it the best with humor.
Yes.
To find the bright side in it, to connect with people even if you don't like them. And meaning, I suppose that you can connect with anyone. Yeah. Even like the worst people, you know? So there's really nothing to fear. You can be stuck in an elevator with XYZ. It doesn't matter. You can find a way to make that paradise, utopia. You know, you can be living your best life at the bottom of a trash can if you know how to unlock those moments with people. So I think it's a little bit of the regions that I grew up in, the bullying aspect and combating that and figuring a way out of that, but also the fact that my childhood was like this 80s cream puff thing where I thought everybody in the whole world was having the best time. I didn't really get it, you know. I guess I was privileged and blessed to, have a very loving family and be insulated from the horrors of the world while I was a small child. So all of those things combined, I guess,
Yes. I think it's so important to have people like you around that really bring the fun, bring energy and vibes and I think that's the one thing, right? I'll be really honest with you, like your art aside, everything aside, that's the one thing that I instantly kind of caught onto about you was your energy. And I was like, oh my God, like this is just fun. It's just enjoyable to watch you as well. Because
thanks.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I also feel like it's, I suppose, part of your art expression too. I feel part of who you are, who you are as a person and the image, I suppose, that you create. And you need to be that person to achieve, I feel, the mission that you're on anyway.
I suppose so, and it's not necessarily like I'm Mother Teresa over here or something. It's not like I'm like the most charitable person on the planet. I selfishly love this act of making people smile, and getting those laughs and having fun. I mean, for me, it's so fulfilling. Yeah. So I'm dialed up. I'm engaged and wanting and wishing and moving towards that goal all the time. I want to make people smile and laugh. For my own selfish needs.
Yes. So with those 70 jobs, right, that you went to, which were, I suppose, a little bit like 0815, like very, I suppose, generic kind of jobs that you would find yourself in. What was the first job or what was the first experience when you're like, all right, that's it, I'm an artist now?
Oof, okay. First job, first experience right now. I guess, I don't know if you would call it a job, but I was working at Kinko's, the photocopy shop, and I used to use their machines very often to make fun stuff. And I always would love, beating the expectations of the customers. I worked in the copy center, and I knew how to use these machines to get like cool results and so forth. And there was a group of artists that came in there once. They're called the Randomists. This was in Hollywood, Florida. And yeah, I knocked it out the park and, gave them what they were looking for and so much more. I got invited to come to a little, I guess, wine thing at one of their homes. And these people were all 20, 30 years older than me. And it was really fun hanging out with them. And so they invited me into this group called the Randomists, and I was a randomist in Hollywood, Florida. We would do this like interpretational art at events and so forth, and they're the ones that gave me my first check, and it was such a small amount of money. It was like the share from this experience. It was like $5, but I thought, oh, I guess I'm an artist.
Wow.
I guess, yeah, I got paid. So.
But how class is that to have these seasoned artists almost invite you into their realm and have you be part of this experience? That's wow.
It was cute. It was really
so
sweet.
nice.
I was like a
Yes.
kid to them,
Yeah. And they were like, I
very
suppose,
nurturing.
mentoring. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're still in touch with me till this day.
Wow.
And they're, quite the seniors, It's really sweet. It's very endearing.
Oh my God, I'm going to have to check them out. Right, we'll pop that in the show notes as well.
Okay.
So we can have a little look at the Randomists. Wow, so that was in Flower. How old would you have been at that stage?
I guess 20-ish.
Okay.
Something like that.
So still quite young.
Yeah.
Right. And what brought you to Düsseldorf then?
Oh boy.
I mean...
So I was living in New York, in Brooklyn, and George Bush was the president for the second time around.
Yes.
And it was getting like a little hot under the collar. There was all this terror talk, everyone's terror front page. And New York Post had this article, How to Spot a Terrorist. They're wearing black. They got their hands in their pockets. They're wearing too much cologne. They got a backpack on. I'm like, okay, that's 90% of New York. So everybody's a terrorist, I guess. So it was just crazy. And I thought, let me break up this pattern. And I've heard about teaching English in Asia, and I've always wanted to, visit. So maybe I'll do 6 months and just kind of reset, this whole thing. So I got certified to do that. And in the meantime, I was working in Times Square. I was selling tickets to a comedy show. And in the first couple of weeks of doing that gig, a group of German girls came walking down Broadway, and of course I said, "Hey, what about comedy?" My whole pitch. Yeah. And they looked at me like, "What?" Because, obviously they didn't speak English so well. So I dropped the pitch because, the whole George Bush thing, I felt like so many people around the world probably view Americans as being blood-lusting assholes. You know what I mean? It was just really so heavy.
Yeah. There was a lot going on at that time.
It was horrible, really, the war in Iraq. But so it would give me this opportunity to be an ambassador to the United States, especially these people are here for the first time ever. Let me send them home with the knowledge that not every American is like, kill them all, like kind of a thing,
Yeah.
So I went to that direction. Oh, where are you coming from? Where are you going? Here's some tips and tricks. But this one was just staring me down. And I noticed that her eyes were incredibly blue, like really just kind of almost like unreal. And so I asked, are those real? And she said, yeah. Make a long story short, she asked me for my phone number. I gave it to her. And I was busy. I was tying up a lot of loose ends because I had planned on going to Asia to teach English. So she was calling me and I'm like, oh, sorry. And then about a month went by and I thought, let me just meet up with this person, go and show her some really cool spots, and that's it, So I meet up with her, not even remembering what she looked like. And I was like totally disheveled, just like, let me do this real quick. But she was just gorgeous. And we had such a wonderful time. And so one thing leads to another. We had the, fireworks at one particular point after having spent a lot of time together. And then she invited me to come to Germany. So I figured, let me check it out. I had my passport, everything ready because I was going to go to Asia.
Yeah.
So I go out to Germany and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I'd never been to Europe. It's beautiful. She took me to a castle. I'm like, whoa, this is incredible. It was autumn. It was a gorgeous day. And she got on her knee, asked me to marry her in front of this castle.
Oh, no
so
way.
I got swept up in this like fairy tale type of a scenario.
God.
I said, yeah. And that's what made me stay in Germany. Yeah.
Oh, how lovely.
Yeah.
Oh.
A little fairy tale kind of thing.
Although I have to say, right, and this is a really fun fact, you're actually the second person on this podcast to come from New York area, want to teach English in Asia, and end up in Düsseldorf.
No way.
This has already happened before.
Doppelganger.
Yes. Yeah, the other person was from Buffalo.
Wow.
And she wanted to go to China to teach English.
Okay.
And then something happened, some regime situation in China.
Uh-huh.
And then she got diverted to Düsseldorf. And she ended up staying with my grandparents, who used to have almost like, they used to take in a lot of foreigners, and they used to take in a lot of travelers. So people who were coming here for like a messe, or who were coming here to work, or had some business to do, they'd stay sometimes a couple of months, you know, and we'd have them live within the family. So she actually came here, and she ended up staying, and she became almost like an adoptive daughter of my grandmother.
Oh, cool.
So I grew up with her in my life.
Oh my
so I
gosh.
always had that New York connection, the Buffalo. Yeah, she's lovely. But yeah, I did an episode with her actually, and she had the exact same story. So I don't know what it is about Asia and teaching. Yes, guys, if you want to teach languages in Asia, you'll end up in Düsseldorf.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Watch out.
Wow, that's incredible. So that was then, I suppose that was done then. The whole teaching English in Asia is out the door.
I've never made it to Asia.
I looked.
Never stepped foot in Asia. I'd love to.
Oh my God. So Düsseldorf, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And then you came here, and I suppose, what was your first kind of like experience? What was the first thing you noticed about Germany?
Oh boy. I mean, I had the rosiest of glasses on when I got here, you know, and I just thought everything was just amazing, and you know, everything I would get exposed to, whether it's the Christmas market or the castles or the bike rides. I just thought it was charming and incredible, gorgeous, beautiful. And then I started feeling like, wow, this is such a blank canvas kind of a scenario. I remember visiting a coffee shop called The Ugly American. It's no longer there. And the owner asking, do you make art? And I said, yeah. And she says, do you think you could do an exhibition here? I said, yeah. I had nothing to exhibit whatsoever. But of course, yeah. So I had always doodled, and I thought, well, I need to have bigger doodles, I guess. So I started taking this doodle concept, putting them on big canvases and making these acrylic paintings. So I assembled enough to do the exhibition, and they all sold. And I started doing show after show, and they were all selling. I thought, oh my God, this place. Wow, this place is amazing.
Yes.
You know? So I guess my first impression was, this place is incredible. And I started sending out the call like, hey, everybody move here.
Yes.
You know, why not? Let's start something here, because it seems so easy.
Yeah.
I really felt like I won the lotto or something, you know? I'm teaching English. The income is enough for the apartment, for myself, to travel Europe, to have the food, the dance, the song. The whole thing was so easy, and it was like a 20-hour-a-week work schedule.
Yes.
So I was like living the dream. I guess it was the American dream inverted.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
You know, my grandparents left Europe, and I'm like, coming on back for the better
the German
life.
dream.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible. So I suppose as an American artist coming to Germany then, and I mean, that's like the red carpet being rolled out for you.
Felt that way.
That's like opportunities left, right and centre. But the one thing I have to say, and I think it's a lot to do with personality as well, right? Because if I would just say we're both in the same situation, right? And I'm there, and somebody's like, hey, like, do you think, oh, well, no, you know, I don't know, would it be good enough? You know, I'd be there probably self-deprecating, you know, and kind of cancelling the opportunity. So I think it takes someone like you who has that personality as well, who says, yeah, I can do it.
I think so.
You
yeah,
know?
for sure. And I think everyone has that opportunity as well, you know? It's
Yes.
just a little bit of, I guess, practice in that sort of sense. You mentioned earlier about, I think, or at least you reflected on this concept of maybe not making art or something like that. Or a lot of people, I guess, express that they are not artists, they're not creative. And, you know, I guess in a cringy way, I feel like everybody is. It's just that when they were a child, someone intervened and said something. It could have been another child or an adult. I don't know. But they were left feeling, oh, not good enough. But of course they were. And sadly, they just keep holding that not good enough scenario in their mind. Whereas, of course, they are.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, look at the landscape of art. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Anything goes. Anything.
Yes.
Right? You don't, there's no, you know, bar. You just make it and it's art. You're done.
Oh my God, yes.
So it's just a matter of pencil to paper, or whatever the medium is, and you're done. You're in.
I think the one thing I noticed in Germany growing up, and I don't know what it was like for you, but in I can't even say the culture, because that would just be, in my experience here growing up in Germany, I felt that art was something that was strongly encouraged. It was highly, for me and my family, encouraged to be very artistic, very, very cultural as well. I always went to the opera, theatre, I was highly encouraged to partake in whatever kind of went on, specifically artistically. But then I turned 17, 18, and then it was like, right, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? And then it was like, well, maybe you should think about tourism or marketing. And I was like, yeah, really? That's what you tell me to do after all of that? So I was a little bit like, I suppose I learned from that point that art is lovely and great for your formative years. But then at a certain point, you need to actually pick a real job. And in a way, that kind of hurt me in a sense, because I felt I sat there and I was clueless as to, well, what kind of a real world job could I actually do? And that's where, for me, the journey kind of began. And I remember doing my leaving cert, my A-levels, whatever you want to call it. And we were sitting there was this one specific day we were sitting in class, and our teacher handed out these forms, and we were supposed to pick colleges that we wanted to go to and the courses that we'd like to do within the college. And I'm like looking around me, and all these kids are like, like the pens are smoking. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I'm 17. How am I supposed to know? Because I feel like I just spent 17 years being artistic, and now I had to make a choice that was far away from artists and artistic worlds, and I just didn't know what to do. So that's where my discovery kind of began, like, what shouldn't I do? That's the kind of discovery that I would call it. But I feel in Germany, at least, being an artist is fine and well, but you have to be Beyonce's backup dancer, or you have to be like the next Goethe, or, you have to be like the next, I don't know, some top premium artist in order to even be slightly accepted in what you're doing. And I think here the bar is very high. Is that the same for you coming from America? Was that always something that you kind of felt too? Or was it like, oh, I can just do this?
I mean, absolutely similar to your story. I felt that whole creative thing as a kid, and then I got to that age, and there was a lot of pressure about, doing something that made sense fiscally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I went down that road too, and went into electronic engineering, and certainly it didn't correspond or complement my personality whatsoever, and it didn't last that long. It was a good position in terms of the security that came along with it, but I didn't even make it a year until I left and started scooping ice cream for minimum wage, because I could, that's the thing, I guess. There's this question, and it's been there lingering for, centuries or for eons, which is like, safety, security, or freedom, you know what I mean? And there's something to be said about both. They're both great. Right? But I think if you go all in on one or the other, that's where the danger is, I guess, is trying to have that balance. And I certainly am no master of it. Mind you, I'm not at all. But definitely, my fondest memories, my good feelings that I have about this world and my life in it usually correspond to that side, the freedom side, and just connecting with people and being creative and having fun and being silly. And when I lean on the other side, I find that I don't have those vivid, wonderful memories. It's just like, I'm alive, and I'm taking care of my health,
breathing.
But like, really, what's the payoff there? You know what I mean? I'm like an ornament on the tree of life. You know what I mean? And I'd rather be dancing and singing and hollering. So I don't know. It's a tricky scenario, because as you get older, things like safety and security do feel like they're more and more important, because you don't have that illusion that you'll never die and you're going to live forever, which is something that comes along with youth. But I guess, what's it all worth if you're not going to have those vivid, wonderful feelings associated with life? And I think that does come your way when you, I guess, throw caution to the wind a bit more. But I certainly am not here giving any financial advice. I'm the worst one to tap into for that.
I'm not there for that one either, you know? Yeah, I think that is what it is. It's finding the perfect balance between the two, you know?
Yeah.
And I feel the exact same when I really started leaning into that corporate career in England and building something for myself that was seen as lucrative and a good idea. Those were the worst days of my life. Like I was really, right? You know, I got to a point where I was like, what am I even doing this for? Like,
and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
You're supposed to get this big, joy payoff or something, right? It's what you're supposed to do.
Financially, I was set up. I really don't want to complain. You know,
right.
I was able to go to festivals, music concerts, everything that I was into, I was able to afford for myself. But I wasn't able to enjoy it. I was highly depressed. I was really just burnt out and exhausted. And that was the point for me where I was like, so this is what I have to continue doing now for the next 40 years, 50 years. And people looked at me and they were like, Dara, stop moaning. Like you're out there living your life. Look at you. You're here, there, everywhere. There's so many people in your position who'd give their left arm to be living the life you're living. But that's the outside, right? That's kind of the show. It's what's the inside. Like, well, what am I feeling? How am I?
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be around people anymore. I completely distanced myself. I didn't want to be around anyone. I just wanted to be alone and isolated. And that was the point where I was like, oh, well, something's gone incredibly wrong here, like, you know? And I think that is what it's about for me anyway. And I think as an artist, it's finding out, like, what do I actually need? Like, what do I need to not just breathe, but to be happy.
Yeah.
You know?
Life's short, you know? And it's like the happiness factor is pretty hardcore. And I think, when people, I guess, gauge the quality of life, that's not really part of the metric. It's always, sanitation, education, and these like healthcare. But what about joy, laughter?
Yes. Because it's very, very dry and it's very like Spaß. Warum? Did you find, especially in Germany, that your kind of joyful, interactive art and I suppose presence, is that something that really resonated with a lot of Germans? Or do you find it a little bit tricky here?
It's a mixed bag.
Okay.
It's not the kind of thing that I can say, hey, because that's going to scare everybody off for sure. Yeah. So I kind of have to like make things and look away. And let them, come be curious and check it out. You know what I mean? And one way I discovered that was during COVID. I was doing a lot of sidewalk chalk, like a lot. It was so addictive. I was so into it. Yes. My son as well. And I'm there doing my sidewalk chalk. And then I hear like, in German, wow, it's so beautiful. Oh, this, and it's happening often.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why doesn't that happen on other days? Why isn't there this like hello connection?
Yes.
But it's because I'm looking down.
Yeah.
And like they can come up at their own pace. And so I've learned to kind of, work within that environment. Whereas in the States, I'd be like, oh, come here, you come here.
Yes.
And that would work.
Everyone would be standing there like, wow, that's incredible. Yeah.
But here that doesn't work. So, I think they gravitate towards it. I think they like it. I think it brings the best out in them. Because, I think deep down inside, we all kind of want to play, or at least we did, and maybe we forgot.
Yeah.
But there's always a reminder, and that's kind of an invitation to come back to it. And if it's safe, I think people do want to cross that bridge and play and have that moment. So you just have to find a way where the bridge is not terrifying to them.
Yeah. I think we all have this idea of, well, I have a product, I have something anyway, I'm just going to take it and integrate it. Do you think it's important to really sit down and actually look at the culture and look at what's expected and kind of try and adapt your art or your product to the culture and the environment around you?
I guess I don't put that before, but I learn as I go.
Yeah.
The thing that motivates me in the beginning is just what I find to be fun and joyful. And then as I start to make it and present it, it's like the whole Field of Dreams movie where if you build it, they will come or something. So I always just kind of have a thought or a vision, and then I just start moving towards it without any sort of recipe, roadmap kind of scenario. And the pieces come together slowly. And I've been here long enough to, I guess, have assembled enough understanding culturally where now it's part of the main frame. It's hardwired in me a little bit more so than in the beginning. So, yeah, it's an interesting, I guess, cultural difference that we have here. But at the end of the day, we are all kind of people.
Yeah.
You know, on the surface, there are differences, but deep down inside, you know, if you can get to that, what do you call it, inner child?
Yeah,
There's so many similarities
yes.
there. That's where we're all kind of the same. Yeah. It's the outside, the shell, what we've become that's different. But our origin story, I mean, we're all the same.
I think it's also trying to connect with that person is so hard, but so important. Like, I think it's not just important in creating art, but also being a parent yourself, for example, right? And like, you know, I see that in your content as well that you post on Instagram. You know, a lot involves your son, and you can see there's a lot of like joy there. And I think for a parent specifically, a lot of our work is kind of always away from our children, right? So if you're working in an office or, you know, you have like kind of, you know, even me doing this here, it's always hard to kind of integrate the kids into it and have them be a part. So for you to have something which really also helps you bond with your son and also probably inspires him to also become creative and live that kind of life, you know, growing up. Like, so important. Well done.
Oh, thanks.
Like, really well done.
It's sometimes difficult. I sometimes wonder, you know, because the line is totally blurred. There is no, like, easy way to say, oh, Papa's busy.
Yeah.
Busy doing what? I want to do it, too, because it looks fun.
Oh, my God, yeah. Yeah. Oh, look, you're doing something cool again. I'm there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. How would you say no to that? Yeah.
Right. So everything I do, even if it's totally adult, there's still, like, a factor of fun. And he's like, why can't I go? I'm like, well, it's adult, you know. It's for older kids.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it is fun to share that journey with him.
True.
And he does appear sometimes on my Instagram. And I wrestle with the whole social media thing because there is so much joy between my son and I that I would love to share with the world, but I also want to protect him.
Yes.
It's tough to know
so hard
how to navigate that.
I think because we're naturally also kind of, we want to show our kids off, right?
Of course, yeah.
Like, I love my kids and I think everything they do is so brilliant and cool. And if I send it to my mom, she's like, oh my God, that's so brilliant and cool. And it's just so tempting, right? And I really struggle with that so much. Because there are some scenarios where I'm like, oh, I think I want to post this. But then I'm like, but yeah, it's hard.
It's so hard. It's so hard.
You know,
it's so unpredictable as to how that will impact or affect or what they'll think of that, you know.
Yes.
I mean, we're, I guess, of the generation where, you know, our first images online were placed there by us.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We didn't do a Google search of our name and saw a whole bunch of shit that other people put.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, that's me with my first bath.
Right? So I don't know how I would have felt about that. I don't think I would have enjoyed that.
Yeah, true.
So I'm trying to do my best to provide that to him as well, where he's the one.
Yeah.
So.
But I think, again, you know, if it is, and I'm sorry, I don't want to speak for your son, but I think if it is the artistic side and if it is a moment, the way you post them, I think it's lovely and it's so profound.
Well, thank you. That's really nice. I appreciate that.
I don't think he'll have a problem with that.
Thank you.
Know? And if he does, tell him, well, Dara said it's all right.
Amazing. My scapegoat.
Yeah, this is it.
It's her fault.
Yeah, she's the one. Blame it on her, you know. When it comes to the educational side then, do you see any direct comparisons between like Germany and the US? Or what's the difference in values, core values, or just the system?
Yeah. You know, I guess having taught kids for the last 20 years English and them coming from different places in the world, I've got this nice overview, I guess. And where I place Germany is somewhere in the middle of the United States and Asia.
Wow, okay.
You know, whereas Asia, they're really disciplined and, oh my goodness, like very well behaved, and they're really focused on their studies, and they're quite advanced when it comes to a lot of the different skills. And the United States is like way behind that. Germany's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So the kids are under pressure. They do feel the stress associated with school and studies, but not nearly as much as Asia. Whereas in the United States, I feel like, oh, you have a pulse? You graduated.
Yes. Oh, wow. Okay. So it's not really like...
No, it's not like anything.
Yeah.
If you're in attendance,
wow,
you passed.
That's crazy. Because I always look at the US where you see like Harvard and Yale and you see these like top institutions. You just automatically expect like with this whole college and I don't know.
Well, that's the thing too, though, is that, those institutions cost a lot of money. So it's not really part of the program in terms of like, that's what you're going to do. Basically, you're going to graduate high school and start working, or if you are the brightest of the bright, maybe move on to a university. But most likely, you'd probably go to a community college, something basic. And it's not necessarily a big, prerequisite to have incredible grades entering those places. So it's almost like for most people in the United States, just get through those grades through 12. It's not so important, the results. It's more important what you do after that. So you're going to go to community college, you're going to go to basic college, you're going to start working, and that's where it really matters what you do. But up till grade 12, unless you're, in that 5 percentile, it doesn't really matter so much. Whereas here, it starts mattering when you're in the 4th grade. They want to determine the rest of your life at the end of the 4th year. Are you going to go to Real? Blah, 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 blah.
It's a bit too serious as well, though, isn't it?
I think it's a little bit nice on paper, but in practice, it doesn't make sense to me because I feel like if you're going to divide those kids up and they're not going to really intermingle, because I've talked to them, do you have friends that are at the others? No, not really. And I think, wow, so you've got this type of mentality here, that type there, and they're not crossing streams. I mean, that's where innovation comes from. Separate types of personalities coming together with different visions and perspectives, whereas you just jumble them all up. So that's why it's so monotone, I think, monoculture in a sense, and predictable, because you're going to have those fusions when you bring different types together, the brain, the creative, the gearhead, the whatever,
It's also a little bit elitist, I always found as well. Not so much with myself growing up. I mean, I went to a gymnasium and I just thought, like, oh yeah, this is just normal school,
Right.
But looking back now, especially my sister who's 15 years younger and seeing her go through the process and also kind of observing it as an almost adult then, I started to question a lot. And I was looking at these different kind of aspects and you see a lot of these parents, for them, their main goal is not like, what's my actual kid's talent or like how are they actually performing? It's more like, well, they need to be in gymnasium.
Right.
They need to achieve, and I'm like, yeah, but can we just quickly look at your child and see, is this actually going to be the best for your child? Or would you be better off in some place like a Gesamtschule where you have this crossing of different paths and they can see for themselves where they fit in, I went to a school in Ireland where everyone was in the same school. It didn't matter if you were good or if you were crap. Like,
right, same.
If you're crap, then you're going to do pass or you're just going to fail. And if you're good, then you'll do honours and you'll just have a really good leaving cert.
Yeah.
Happy days, and that's kind of everyone just went their own way. But like you said, we all got to
get
mingle.
socialized by the reality of the world instead of this like small cross-section.
Yes. And we had we had a special needs class.
Yeah.
So we also got to mingle also with all aspects of society.
Same, yeah. My experience is the same. Yeah, totally.
And here everything is just for itself, secluded.
Yeah. It's all segregated. It's strange. It's a little strange for me.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what to necessarily think about it. But again, it's, I guess, safety over freedom. It's predictability over unpredictability.
Yeah.
There's strengths in all of it. I'm not condemning any of it, It's a mixed bag. What are you going to do?
Yeah, this is it. Look, make the system different.
Yeah, there's always room for improvement.
Change the system.
Can't stop progress.
So where did the love for pom-poms come from then?
Yeah, so teaching kids English, again, that was always secondary, the English factor. So my class is basically crafts, arts. It's English comes in, no matter where I go. It's who I am. I'm going to speak English. I focused on the arts and the crafts. And whilst doing that, I discovered pretty quickly that pom-poms are the king of crafts. And every kid was cuckoo bananas over it. I didn't know that they were so amazing, but I discovered it. And from there, I decided to start gifting them to friends and family and making them bigger and more extravagant and fun. And they're losing their mind over it too. So I thought there's something pretty magical here because it's like, the easiest thing in the world to do, right? So you don't have to be that person who believes they're creative or believes they're an artist. Anybody can do it.
Yeah.
And I love that about it. And it's quick. So you get this like satisfaction within minutes. So yeah, I guess I just had fun for a number of years doing it with the kids, doing it with friends and family. And then it dawned on me that I should make them bigger because I'm from America and bigger, better.
Oh, we love things big.
Yeah.
Love
So I rolled out a couple bowling ball sized ones, and then people lost their minds over that.
Wow.
And so from there, I thought, what's the biggest one? And I looked, and this was back in 2015. And the biggest one was about 3 feet tall at that time. And I thought, oh my God, I'll knock that out the park. Easy. So I registered with Guinness to do it. And I started to build it. Long story short, I didn't complete that project. Sadly, the computer with all the video files got stolen from the school I was working at. Very happily, a friend of mine started this campaign to get me a new computer, and it worked. But it still kind of left me a little bit disheartened, and I didn't have that same, I guess, mojo for the pom-pom. So I put it on hold, and it was during COVID where I thought with my son, hey, you want to make a giant pom-pom? Yes. And that was the first big one, and that's when really I felt like this is super magical, way more magical than I thought. Never really envisioned it as a swing.
Yes.
Like maybe you've seen on,
oh
Instagram.
My God. Do you know what? That looks so fun. And everybody that's on those just looks like grown adults are there like, wee,
Totally.
Miley Cyrusing it through the arch gallery.
Yes. That's where that's where it's all at. The swing scenario.
Oh my God, that's so brilliant.
We built it, and I thought, let's try and hang it up. And we hung it up in my kids' room, and all the kids just jumped on it. And then I was like, this is it,
Yes.
So, it all started from teaching kids English. Wow. It just was something that landed on me, and I've been compelled to continue doing ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
And also to combine those aspects of, I suppose, learning, art, and then play as well, you know?
Yeah, totally.
And to just experience, because I think that's so important as well, and hats off to you for even coming in from that aspect. Because a lot of the times the experience is like, learning, well, there's no fun with learning. Learning it's important, we have to do it. But for you to recognize that is a very important aspect to learning and combining all of these different parts. And I think especially with language, my experience has been, and this is why I think it's such a brilliant format, that you learn better by doing it kind of on the side. So if kids are busy there, like, hand me the scissors. Yeah. Or, I need glue. Or, in an interaction instead of right, your turn. What's that vocab? Totally. And then you're freezing. You don't know what to say. You've forgotten it. And then it's like, fail.
Totally.
So
it's funny because it's not like I, went into teaching with this methodology that I knew was bulletproof and guaranteed to work. And, I literally went in there sweating bullets thinking I'm super not qualified for this at all. Yeah. But that was just a natural way of me being who I am. And then, within a few months, they're putting me on the side of a city bus and projecting me in the Hauptbahnhof, and I'm on their flyers as like the go-to teacher. And oh my God! And I have no credentials, I have no experience. It's just that they wanted to come back. They continued to sign up. They told their parents they loved the class, and it was working. The parents are saying, wow, my kid's speaking more English, because they're motivated by what's most important. And it goes back to the whole thing about like being a cashier or whatever. It's irrelevant, like the English, the job, whatever. What's important is that connection, because all of those other things are going to happen anyway. Yes. We can't stop it. We have to go to school. We have to work. But we can also at the same time find a way to thoroughly enjoy it. Yes. And if you can find that way, then you're going to do better at the job. You're going to do better at your studies, right? Yes. Yes. So that's like kind of the special sauce, is just connecting with people.
The one comparison I'm going to do, and now please don't take any offense because none is made.
Hit me with your best shot.
Blippy.
Oh, I get that from my sister.
You have this little blippy thing, but you know what I will say? Kids adore him. Like I remember that was a huge thing. They were obsessed. But it's not it's the fun. It's this learning, playing. It's not a right, you sit down now. It's this really, guys, come along, the enthusiasm and the motivation. And that's one thing I hear from a lot of musicians, especially that sit here, when they speak about being on stage. They say, do you know what? The difference between someone who's just learned to play an instrument and someone who's really a musician is understanding how to project the emotion you want to project. So if you want the kids to be enthusiastic, to be enthusiastic, right? And it's if you want someone to feel sadness in the song, you've got to kind of play it, not just like sad,
Right.
You've got to really feel the sadness. And I think with you, that's the thing that I suppose kids are addicted to with you as well.
Yeah.
It's the vibes, the energy, the enthusiasm, and the fun that you also have. Right? And because adults, I think a lot of the times we can be tricked by words, but kids cannot. Kids can't. And they will see through you. They will really see, does he mean it or is he only putting it on,
Okay, yeah.
And I think for you to just be that kind of fun energy ball, like,
Yeah.
kids find that super fascinating.
Thank you. And, again, it's not even a charity. Like, it's a selfish thing. And like, anybody can get addicted to it, It's like, just tap into it. It's kind of fun making other people feel good.
Yes.
I'm like always on the lookout for opportunities for it. And that's what the poem, it's like my secret weapon. Because the bigger they are, it's this inescapable gravitational pull towards bringing the best out of someone. Because nobody can hate a giant pom-pom. They're going to be filled with joy. They're going to feel nostalgia. They're going to feel all these wonderful things. And I love that. It's myself. I love it.
I think I disagree with you on the selfish part, right?
Okay.
My theory is actually people who restrain and restrict themselves are selfish because they care too much about how they're seen and perceived by the others.
Interesting take.
Right? And I'm just picturing like walking through the busy Altstadt, you're walking through Bolkerstraße, there's a brilliant song coming on and you're just dancing away, right? It's the people that stop and look around and say, oh, I can't dance because there are a lot of people here. Those are the ones where I'm like, hold on a minute, you're a little bit selfish there.
That's an interesting take. I like that. Yeah.
So I disagree. I think it's not actually selfish. I think you're in tune with yourself and you're probably more in touch with yourself.
Okay. Maybe I'm guilty of that. Yeah.
Right? We need to
Interesting
reassociate.
I think I'm having a little breakthrough moment, to be honest with you. Because I'm like terrible at marketing, like myself, in terms of like trying to be like, I guess a successful, as you would, artist, right? In terms of what society deems successful, in terms of making money. Because I'm just so happy people like my stuff.
Yeah.
So most often, like I'm like, take it.
Yeah.
Just take it. Are you selling something? No. There's nothing for sale. And I probably should try to sell stuff, and I probably should maybe say like, no, I am doing this as a service,
Yeah.
But it's more within me to just lean into the fact that I like it so much.
Yeah.
So it makes me feel like, I am selfish because I'm enjoying it so much.
Yes.
But maybe you're right. Maybe it's not selfish necessarily.
No.
Maybe it is a service.
I think you're doing a fantastic service because you're helping us all and you're teaching us all,
I love
right?
that.
And this is aside from your like art. This is just probably you who you are walking along. I think you really encourage other people to just be more fun. And
That's awesome. I'm going to take this home with me and really let it simmer because really for so many years teaching English, I'm like, $10 an hour? You know what I mean? Like, is that okay with you? Everyone else is like $50 an hour. Yeah, I'm like, are you sure? And like, we'll have this amazing conversation. They'll come in my kitchen. I'm like, coffee, tea, cookies, and yeah. Oh, we gotta leave. Okay.
Let me cook dinner for you before you go.
And we're having such a good time, they forget to pay me, and I'm thinking of it, but I don't say anything because I feel guilty because it was so much fun for me.
Yes.
How could I ask for money?
Yes.
Right? But it's like, it goes to what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's not selfish to ask for money if you're providing, I guess, something that people enjoy.
Yeah. And that's I would even consider it more of an extra than, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an extra. You bring entertainment, you bring fun, and that's like way more than most of the others bring.
I love that. That's really great.
Oh my God, incredible. So Super Fuzz Big Fluff.
Yay.
That's the name, right? And
Yeah.
I love it. It's so cute. So where is this is the problem. It's a tongue twister. Super Fuzz Big Fluff. Where is he located right now?
Right now at ES365 are the Super Fuzz Big Fluff components. Yeah, and that's a
Wow.
studio in Düsseldorf. Big enough for the fluff.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a gigantic place. Old car house.
So how does it work then? Like, do you go, have you got a set schedule, or is it just like as and when you kind of have time, you drop by and just continue a bit? Like, what's the POA for the big fluff?
Yeah, I guess it's a little bit of all of that. It's a little bit of schedule, it's a little bit of spontaneity. Right now, it's seemingly more or less once a week is where I find time to carve out for it. And I guess to break it down, my yarn sponsor gave me 250 kilos of yarn.
Wow.
And that's divvied up into 25 boxes. And I can somewhat get a box, maybe a little plus, finished every week. So that's the trajectory I'm on right now, is once a week, hitting the studio, getting a box, hopefully more done. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to say when it'll be finished because anything could happen along the way, you know.
Yeah.
But it will be finished someday, soon.
And what's the plan then? You're heading off to Berlin with it, is it?
That is the initial idea. Again, like I have these ideas and then I'm like, this is my idea. And people are like, really? Maybe you shouldn't talk about that so much right now because you didn't do anything yet. You haven't accomplished anything yet.
This is how you manifest, right?
I think so.
And then someone might hear and be like, oh my God, I can help you.
That's kind of how it's been working, you know? So, I had, this is what I'm going to do. And then I found a way to get the yarn. And then months and months later, I got the studio. That was like the last thing. It took so long to find a place. But I just felt like, of course I'll find a place. And I did. So I was right. And then, Berlin was always the idea because there's this fantastic DJ. Her name's Babetta. You can find her on Instagram, DJ Babetta. She's in Berlin, and she's famous for making pom-poms. So when she's spinning, she's tossing these amazing handmade pom-poms with these smiley faces out to the revelers. And through my pom-pom journey, somebody came to me and said, do you know this DJ? Have you heard of her? I said, no. And I went and looked and I thought, oh my God, I have to know her. So I sent her a message immediately. I said, okay, best friend that I don't know yet. You know what I mean?
God,
like, wow. You're like a walking, talking rainbow. Like,
Yeah.
please, we have to be friends. And we became friends.
Wow.
And so we've linked up, and the idea is, let me bring it to Berlin, and we'll host this event, this gala, this amazing event where she'll play music, and the pom-pom will be there, and there'll be dancers and lights and magicians. And,
oh my God.
just basically like this incredible moment in time and space that we share together out there in Berlin.
I
That's
want
the
to be
vision.
there. I want to be
You
there.
should
I
be.
need to
You
be there.
gotta be.
I am waiting for my invite. That sounds
Yay.
like such a good time.
I think so.
Oh
yeah.
my
But of
God.
course, there's no venue picked out. There's
Oh,
no
look,
date.
no, that
right?
doesn't matter, right? Let's just have this in our heads right now and plan this in
Exactly.
our heads.
Yeah, exactly.
The rest will manifest.
I think so. Yeah. I already made stickers for it.
Oh, look.
I got one for you.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Giant Pom-Pom Berlin 2025.
Oh, my God. Well, that's it now. It's done, isn't
Right.
it? It has to be
I
Berlin.
think so.
Let me just kind of show this a little bit. It has to be Berlin. Oh, my God. This is so cool. I'm going to have to stick this. By the way, your website, I obviously had a look. Because,
Okay.
That's what I have to kind of do. I think it's super impressive.
Oh,
how
thanks.
many different... First of all, I think your website is beautiful, and I really, really suggest everyone goes and has a look at your website.
Oh, be still my heart. Thanks.
Like all the, all the different... You work so hard. I sat down with my artist friend and we were looking together. She was over on a little visit and I said, oh, look who I'm sitting down with. And she was like, oh my God, that's super interesting. And, we were going through these different aspects of what you do. And a lot of thought, a lot of care, a lot of creativity has gone in. And you can see that. And I've got to say, I'm a little bit jealous to see like how much you get done. You're still a dad, you're teaching English, you've got your project, and it's wow. You really work hard, is what I'm trying to say by this. Going by what you do. So I 100% believe that this is going to happen. It will be in Berlin. It will be in 2025. You will have the world's largest pom-pom. There's no question about it. This is going to happen.
Absolutely.
We're going to be at that party, right?
Most definitely. And don't be surprised if it makes its way to other continents as well.
Yes.
I've already looked into it. It can happen. I think it's
my
around
God.
4,000 or 5,000 to ship it to New York, for example, by air.
Maybe it's
So
not the
it's
best
possible.
idea to start talking about different ideas, but I think even like
That's
pom-pom disco or something like that, where you're able to just swing around on pom-pom. Oh my God, it would be so cool. Like ever since I've seen those, I'm just dying to go and swing on a pom-pom. Like,
Yay.
it's just, oh, it's really, really infectious, you know?
Bless your heart.
So I suppose since you've gone kind of public with this whole project, what's been the feedback from the community? What have people has the feedback been kind of like, oh, all right, okay, cool, or people have been like, oh wow, like that's really interesting? Like what's the general feedback and vibe you've got from the project?
I guess generally speaking, people are pretty hyped about it. You know, they're excited, especially those who have come in contact with the other giant ones I've built. They're like really eager to see this one that's 10 times bigger than the biggest one I ever made, which is going to be like colossal. But yeah, if people have no point of reference, you know, it's a little bit like, what are you talking about? What do you mean a 600-pound pom-pom? What?
Yeah.
You know, how is that possible? What is that? Why? So it's a mixed bag. I mean, I guess people that have a concept, a feeling for what I'm talking about, love it. And those that don't are like, but you could be making sweaters for the homeless, you know? And I'm like, but I don't make sweaters. I don't know how to make sweaters. So I don't know if I'm that guy to make sweaters. I'm the pom-pom guy. So it doesn't really make sense. But, you know, we live in this age where people often are, not everybody, but they do see maybe the negatives first sometimes, you know? And it's like, also coupled with the era where people are very environmentally conscious. So I get it, you know, for some people, it's a challenge for them to see how that's a positive thing to use that many kilos of yarn to build a pom-pom. Why would you do that, you know? But I value the fun thing so much that I think, of course, it's worth it. You know, it's worth its weight in gold, you know, like, because I know what I've seen and I've experienced. So this is 10 times the magnitude. It's going to bring so much joy to people and inspiration and motivation. So I got to do it. But yeah, it's like a split, you know? People get it or they don't.
I think it's also really important, specifically in times like these, to have projects like that do infuse
Thank
fun,
you.
right?
Yeah.
Because,
I feel like, yeah.
I mean, we could say the same about the podcast. I'm sitting here while there's so much bad stuff going on in the world, and we're sitting here having a laugh about pom-poms, right? Yeah, but still, to me, as horrendous as everything is, and I don't even want to take 2 minutes to think about it, right? Because I just can't. I think the world still has to continue, and I think fun needs to continue, enjoyment, laughter, these things have to continue. And I think the people who are able to make a crazy change in these lives of these people need to do that.
I agree.
But I honestly, I'm not one of them. I don't know what I can do to help the situation in any way, shape or form, except for make people laugh, or maybe change perspectives, or maybe infuse a bit of inspiration or joy in other aspects. And I think everybody needs to do what they're good at. And if you're a cook, you should cook. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And if you're a cleaner, like, do that. But I think it's this standing there and expecting someone who's been a cleaner all their life to now start cooking because they're people that are hungry. Yeah. But let's just get the cooks to... I don't... That's my thing, you know?
100% with you.
I don't know.
I tell people all the time, like, the revolution requires dancers and singers and a lot of other things than just people on the front lines fighting and screaming. That's needed.
Yeah.
Get political.
Yeah.
Get out there.
Yeah.
Make the change. But we also need the music.
Yes.
We need the melody. Because without that, there's not going to be any foundation or basis to fight for. What are we fighting for if there's no joy in the world? So, yeah, there's that one part of it. And the other part of it is if you don't have the ability to do these things because you are living in a region or an area where there is a lot of this conflict going on. And what I'm thinking of in particular is Iran. I met with a bunch of people online in these creative spaces, and these... the ladies that I've met were singing online, and then they would explain to me if they did that in public, they'd be lashed, they'd be whipped. It's illegal, forbidden to sing in public. It's forbidden to dance. And I thought, OMG, obviously this is a privilege to hear you sing for one. And then for the next thing, I thought, if I don't sing and dance, I'm doing a disservice because that's what if you're in conflict, you don't want to be in conflict. So if we're not in conflict and we're acting like we are, I feel like that's sacrilegious. I think the best way to pay tribute to those who can't or are not given this opportunity is to max out what we can do, because otherwise we're wasting it.
Yeah.
This is, it's kind of like the best way to pay tribute to someone in a roll stool or something is to dance.
Yeah, literally.
You know what I mean? Because to be like, oh, I can't dance. It's like that person can be like, yes, you can, MF. Or
Yeah.
I'm the one that can't dance.
Yeah,
you can.
Yeah,
so do it.
Yeah.
Don't be like that. So
true.
yeah, I feel like we have to max out what we can as who we are.
There's this really funny situation. I just find it very humorous, and I still talk about it a lot. There was this trend in Ireland. This would have been 20 years ago, 15 years ago, where basically a lot of these young Irish girls were going over to different poverty-struck areas to help build houses. So they would, take 2-3 weeks out of their time, and they'd go around, they'd get sponsoring, they'd get a bit of money together, and then they would basically arrange their trip to go over and build houses. Now, the problem and the big issue with this was it was lovely. I mean, they were being thoughtful, collecting money, but none of them had ever built a house. So they were arriving in these poverty-struck areas, right? They had to basically use the money to pay for their keep, their flights and everything. And then they were just basically standing there being in the way for most of the time. Where it would have probably been a better idea if they would have just stayed at home and maybe just sent the money over, for example, right? And I think sometimes an idea of help in theory is lovely, but I think sometimes it's the practicality we need to think of as well,
No doubt.
So yeah, I agree. I don't think everyone should be doing just the one thing. We all have different abilities, and yeah, mine is just being silly. That's all I can
love
do.
That. I support that.
So you did get a good bit of funding.
I did.
You surpassed 86% of your goal. Is there still a chance for us to help and donate? Is it still open? Yeah.
Well, the campaign itself is closed.
Okay.
So there is no access via that channel. But certainly there are other ways to help. I have, for example, on my website, a couple T-shirts that were designed by a local artist. Amazing. I love these prints. And they're at 50 euros a piece, obviously because that's part of funding.
Yeah.
But certainly there's so many different ways to get involved, to participate, to collaborate, to sponsor. I just, again, have all these ideas and visions, I feel like certainly along with a 600-pound pom-pom, a 10-foot tall pom-pom, comes a lot of like flashing cameras. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for, maybe businesses to get involved, maybe to partner up, to get the exposure that most likely will happen. So there's so many different avenues and different ways to participate. Maybe you're creative and you want to be at that event doing your thing, whatever it is, do it. Yeah. Because I'm like, very much inspired by the Muppets, and there was this idea in the Muppets where it's like we need more bears and cats and dogs, and we need as many things as possible so we could do the melody, the Broadway show that they did in Muppets Take Manhattan, and that's how I feel like the more the merrier, the more color, the more bring it. Let's have fun.
Yes.
So there's all these different ways to participate. You can either just be an amazing person who contributes the funding that's needed to make it happen, or bring your heart, bring your soul, bring your spirit, or find another way. Maybe you're thinking something I'm not. Yeah, definitely. Reach out to me.
Absolutely.
I'm always up for the talk.
We're going to put all your contact details and your Instagram profile, everything in the show notes as well. So 100% get involved. I think it's so important to just also be part of the community. And that's where we get back to the, deeper human connection.
Yes.
It's actually meeting up. It's partaking in something. It's just getting involved. And I mean, for a lot of years, like I said earlier on, I didn't. I just stayed at home. I had a lot of time, but I couldn't, and I understand that. But also it helps to just go and get yourself out and go and do something creative, and force yourself to be surrounded by people who maybe like push you to your limits of kind of comfortable interactions as well, And the more I have focused on networking over the last couple of months, years, the more I've seen the benefit of surrounding yourself with people who are currently going through that and who are really in an exploration phase and are just bursting with energy, you know?
Totally.
And I think even if you don't want to just partake as an artist, just being surrounded in these human experiences, really.
Totally. And, you know, spoiler alert, you know, we're all a little depressed. We all have a lot of troubles in our lives. No one's exempt. So, you know, people who might be looking from the outside in and saying, well, I don't connect with that, you know, this very happy, joyful thing. Well, nobody really does. It's just putting yourself in it and then you're connected with it. Yeah. So I say fake it till you make it, you know, crawl up if you have to, slither up, however you get. But once you get there, then the magic starts to happen. But certainly you don't have to feel that way as you arrive.
Yeah.
Just peel yourself off of the floor, the sofa, the bed, wherever you're, you know, feeling all of that depression, that lethargy, that melancholy, and just fake it. Just say, I'm going to make the call. I'm going to send the message. I'm going to send the email because what do I got to lose? You know, just go for it. Move into it because certainly I don't go around always like, yay, all the time. You know what I mean?
What?
We all have hard times.
What?
Yeah. I just push myself into the good times. You know, they don't come looking for me. You know, you got to go out looking for it, you know, and it's not going to reject you. Good times are the good times. The bad times are the ones going to be like, yes, you know, like testing you, trying you, and making you feel miserable. But come on down. Yeah.
I see that as well in these networking, and I am obsessed with networking right now because I feel that's the opportunity to really get into these conversations. Of course, not every person's going to be the right network for you. I'm not saying you're going to land at every networking event and just have a ton of new friends, but it's just exposing yourself to different people and just seeing who do I actually match up with? What do we share? And I think you get to learn so much more about yourself. By surrounding yourself with other people, you know? And it's just so much to be gained. And I think it's this fake, like, oh, social media, we're all connected. Bullshit, we're not.
No.
We're not connected.
No,
we're just showing off each other's lives, you know?
It's the packaging. It's like a wrapper.
We're not even honest.
Totally.
9 times out of 10, it's like we're showing some aspect that happens once in a blue moon.
100%.
You know?
It's like when you see the product in the supermarket, it says new and improved, which really just means they found cheaper way to make it. So the ingredients are different.
Smaller packaging.
You know, that's social media. You know, you got to break open the packaging to find out what's really there.
Yeah, it's true.
And you do learn from every situation when you're with somebody, no matter who they are, wherever they're from. You don't walk away without learning. You do every time. So more of that. I'm addicted to networking too. I'm addicted to meeting people. I love it.
The one thing I've learned as well, sometimes what can happen is you do get lost in the wrong environment. And if you are surrounded by people who don't enjoy other people, who don't enjoy interaction, and you find you are actually someone who does, it doesn't mean you're wrong or, you know, you're just in the wrong group, and you should just go out there and see, because there are people like you. And I think that's the one thing that social media does give us. If you are someone who, I don't know, is a minority, or if you are someone who's going through a difficult experience, you will find others.
No doubt.
There will be a community that you can turn to for sure. But I also don't think it beats inhuman interaction. I don't think it beats sitting down with someone. I don't think it beats... And I mean, of course, for someone like my grandmother who's in her mid-80s, she's like, it's incredible. I can just video call my friend and it's like we're in the same room. And I'm like, yeah, but you're not, though. And I think it's still important that you go out there, and I think it's important you meet these people, because there's still something else about that actual physical touch.
No doubt.
The physical interaction, the you know, even smelling each other. I don't know. It's just... There's something, it's so important for me, and I just put so much focus on it, you know?
That's where the magic happens.
So yeah, deeper human connection. How do you feel like you, on a day-to-day basis, how do you foster deeper human connection?
Good question. On a day-to-day. I guess it is, it's a throwback to, you know, making those bullies like flip the script, you know, where they're not bullying me anymore. They want to be my friends. I'm just like finding a way to bring levity to a situation, bring laughter, bring joy, smiles. So it's typically through being silly, being a little bit of a goofball,
Yes.
and not really caring, about what other people think, because I know I'm not doing anything that's, with any ill will or bad intention. It may not land. Some people are like, okay, that's fine. That's fine. Others, though, when it lands, and it feels so good. So I guess, I try to foster that deep human connection by reaching in and finding that part of a person that wants to be playful. And I think it's in everyone. Sometimes it gets buried under a mountain of bureaucracy or paperwork or whatever stresses that are in life. But there's always that, because as a kid, that's all you want. You just want to feel safe and be able to play. Those two things,
Yes.
And that's like kind of love, being safe and playing. It's like love.
Well, that's kind of just what I want to do right now as well as an adult, to be really honest.
I think so, right? I mean, it's like it's the max.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's amazing because it doesn't cost anything.
Yeah.
So it's kind of within everyone's reach. Now, I'm not saying it's like the easiest thing to do or something like that. It takes courage. When someone says, "Hey, can you draw a cat?" and your instinct is like, "I can't. I'm not an artist. I'm not creative." It's not easy to break. It's like this analogy that I heard a long time ago, whereas a beautiful horse is running wild, free. It's this amazing creature. Oh my goodness, look at this majestic creature. And then you have the domesticated horse. Burp, 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 it's all melancholy. And it's like, well, what can we do to help? Well, let's start by taking the saddle off and let's open the gate and say, "Go, buddy, you're free." But it's not enough. The horse will leave the gate because it's not that easy to heal a broken spirit. You can't just take the chains off and be like, everything's fine. I unlocked them. It's a healing process, and it's a slow roll, and it's going to take courage. It's going to take bravery. But there's no better payoff. So if you're going to be courageous about anything, be it in that sense. Be courageous enough to try to connect with someone. Because the payoff is better than anything else. It's better than a Lambo or whatever,
It's so scary, though.
It is. It's terrifying.
It's so terrifying.
For sure.
To just put yourself out there and
right?
just be like, "Look at me." People are like, It's so scary. And I think that's the biggest part. I think you really need to be able to be vulnerable.
Yes.
And I think you need to be able to be in a position, and maybe, this is just me throwing this one in, being bullied when you're a bit younger helps.
Yes.
I think at a very young age, you've learned, look, your opinion is your opinion. And my opinion is mine. And I think once that is figured out, and it's actually something that I spoke to my mom about recently after my trip to Ireland. And she spoke about someone she knew who was bullied as a child and then went on to be highly successful. And she said to me, she said, look, it's weird because you see that a lot. It's the people who are really successful in college and who are really popular. A lot of the times that's their peak and then it goes downhill. And a lot of the times you have the kids that get bullied relentlessly. And it almost instills this hunger in them.
Yeah.
It's almost this, right, now I'm going to show you. Now watch.
Yeah.
Now watch how wrong you were about me, And these people really go on to achieve so much, right? So it's very interesting.
It's that resilience.
Yeah.
Because if you don't build it up and you're just treated like you're the princess, the king, whatever, and then you get to become an adult and somebody hits you with that hard stuff and you fall so hard.
Yeah.
You may not get up from that.
Yeah.
But if you build up that resilience, then you can keep moving.
Yes.
It's maybe not the worst thing in the world that there's some bullying happening in schools. Like maybe the zero tolerance type of ideology is not the best idea.
Let's make bullying popular again.
I mean, I have to
Bring
say,
back the bullies.
when my kid comes and tells me about some hard day at school, I'm like there to totally empathize and walk him through it and find that teachable moment and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But in the back of my mind, I'm like, thank God.
Yeah, honestly.
Thank God, because it's too good for him at home. If it's too good for him at school too, then he's not going to have any preparation for reality.
Do you know, though, that's the truth. And you hear a lot of celebrities that say that about their kids.
I bet.
And they say, like, I grew up in hardship and that's the reason why I'm successful.
No doubt.
But I'm very worried about my children now.
Yes.
Because they're super popular because they're so-and-so's kid, right? They get everything they want because they're so-and-so's kid, right?
Danger.
They don't have any hardship. They have the nanny at home that constantly cooks the best food. And where do you learn?
You don't. I'm afraid you really don't.
You know?
It kind of fosters like some pretty nasty stuff too.
Yeah.
Like evil, like Joffrey from Game of Thrones kind of style.
Yes.
It's a problem.
Oh my God. Yeah. No, bring back bullying. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, Joffrey would have, been better off.
Yeah. That's it. They didn't bully him enough as a kid.
Nah.
Oh my God, that's so interesting. But I do think, there's something there. Like, I think
so.
There is an aspect that we need to maybe study a little bit more,
Totally.
So another aspect that you're big into, as far as I can tell, is, I suppose, digital art as well, So away from the pom-poms and I suppose the handheld stuff, you are big into digital art and you work with NFTs.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's the feeling towards digital art? Because I know, especially with a lot of AI coming in and, it's this, everything digital is the devil. Like, we cannot be allowing that into our space because it's going to ruin all of our careers. How do you feel about the digital implementation?
I sympathize with those who do feel that way, for sure. People have built like these careers on whatever it might be that they feel challenged now because a lot of the work is disappearing. I get it. That's a challenge for sure. But at the end of the day, I kind of view it as anything else. It's a tool, and it can be yielded for good or for evil. You know, just like a pistol or a knife. I can spread butter on my toast, and everything's hunky dory, or make some really awful choices. So I don't feel I guess any which way strongly, negatively, or positively for AI. I feel kind of neutral. And in terms of digital art, to me, it's like anything else. I'll find the joyful aspects of it and not look at the darker side of it. So for me, again, going back to the deep human connection, that's what NFTs are for me. I mentioned that I've been in these audio spaces and I've spoken with these Iranian artists who sang and so forth. That's via the NFT world. Wow. So that's what I like about it primarily, is that the NFT world has given me a chance living in Germany where I miss a lot of the energy that I experienced in the United States. And so I can go into these chat rooms and these NFT creatives who are all over the world, and with the time zone here in Germany, it kind of complements Asia or the Middle East most of all. So I'm having these great conversations with creatives, and that's what keeps me in that area. It's not NFTs, so to speak, that I'm like crazy about. It's the people.
Yeah.
So the last 3 years in a row, I've applied and I've been an artist at the NFT NYC conference.
Wow.
I just came back from it, a week
I
ago.
saw that. Yeah.
And I'm there. I'm speaking. I'm featured artist there. But I can't go too much into detail about NFTs because that's really not why I am there or what brought me there.
Yeah.
So my talk there was about the people and how, I'm encouraging others to do what I've done, which is get online, host a space, tell your story, get engaged, and find out that there's a lot of joy to be had in this kind of like awesome portal that's opened up as a result of the digital art world. Whereas I would have never rubbed elbows with artists in Iran or in Mongolia or these remote areas if it weren't for digital art.
Yeah.
So that's what I think about digital art. It's just another method, another vehicle to get me to people.
Yeah,
like anything else that I gravitate towards. It's typically that aspect of it that is why I'm there. Pom-poms, NFTs, banana bread, whatever it is, it's the joy that I get from the people aspect of it. Like, I'm not going to eat the banana bread by myself and be like, yay, I make the best banana. Oh, wow, it's so awesome. I love making it and giving it to people and them telling me that and then having that fun moment. You know, so it's the same thing. Wow. I'm sorry, I can't educate anyone on NFTs too much other than to say, like, you can make them and have fun doing it because it's easy and basically for free to do. And maybe you'll also feel like me and want to get in touch with some of these creatives.
Yeah, I think that's what it's about. It's finding communities and it's finding places where you feel seen, heard for what you do as well, you know, and at the same time you see and hear others for what they do. Well, that's incredible. Yeah, because I always find I'm always a bit suspicious of people who are completely against something.
Yes.
You know, because I'm always like, well,
yes.
Look, it is what it is, you know. And I mean, there were people protesting the creation of washing machine. They were standing in the Rhine hand washing their clothes because they were protesting against washing machines. You know, and it's like, imagine a life without them. You know,
Right.
I'm sorry, I don't want to be there. Like I'm happy with my washing machine, you know. And I think it's like you said, it's what you make with it, you know.
It is. And you're going to find that there's wonderful people with washing machines and there's bad people with washing machines.
Yeah,
there's wonderful
100%.
people with NFTs and there's bad people. It's always going to be like that.
Always.
And if you focus in on the bad, you're going to think the whole thing's crap.
Yeah.
But if you focus in on the good, you're going to be like, wow, this is heaven on earth. You know? So
What are some of the like biggest things that surprised you with digital art or with collaborations with digital artists?
I guess it was through speaking and sharing stories with creatives that whilst we're so different in many ways culturally, there is that core similarity, which is when you tap into that childlike wonder, that state of play, we're the same.
Yes.
We can get down. And then on the day-to-day, we are so different. So there's something really amazing there to me that gave me a different worldview, and it helps me a little bit, you know, when people come out with these voices that are really loud and strong sometimes and very convincing at times as well. And I think, wait, no, the big picture tells me something different.
Yes.
You know, it isn't like that necessarily. And so it keeps me grounded. It keeps me feeling like, you know, a success, even though I may not be, you know, by most people's metric, you know, when you have that bigger view.
I one of the reasons I do this podcast, and I remember that was one of the biggest anti-movements I had against what I'm doing here is, why should we listen to these people who are talking on your podcast? And for me, I'm not a platform who offers a seat to the experts, the same ones that are on every other podcast out there. For me, it is about human connection. And who is to say that these experts are the only right answer to whatever problem is at hand? And I think with everything, there is one situation and 100 different viewpoints around it. I think, you know, to make this really, really simple, the two of us, we can walk down the street, there can be a car crash, we observe the same crash, we walk away from the crash with completely different experiences, right? And on a larger scale, for me, this is what it's about. I want this to be a hub of human connection. I want you to come here and I want you to feel like you're able to say whatever you feel from your experience it has been. And every story is a right story because it's your story. And I think this idea of having to filter out who, you know, this, that, and the other. No, like I give a space for people to meet, to interact, to look at things differently, to have conversations and to connect on a different level. And I want to give the people at home who are listening the same opportunity to join this connection, to listen in, to understand and take away from your experiences and your learnings. You know, are they the right kind of... Look, it's the same with language. There are different words ways to pronounce a word, right? There are different accents, there are different mannerisms. There's not just one right way, you know?
No
and
doubt.
that to me is so important, and I think that's what we see with art way more than in different aspects. With art, no one goes in and pretends to be the only or the right, or, you know, no one stands there and says, right, guys, stop what you're doing. It's all pointless. I have found the one way, you know?
This is the fact.
Yeah.
Scientifically proven.
I'm the art expert.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, you know? And I think for me, that's my way to combat this whole, you know, one expert, one opinion, one viewpoint, and to show, no, we're all on this planet. We are all entitled to our voices. We're all entitled to our stories, and we're all entitled to talk what we've learned. You know, sure, there's some people I don't agree with. There's certain things, especially hateful speech and, you know, these kind of things I won't tolerate in my space just because that's not what this is about.
Yeah.
But, you know, experiences, views, I'm so happy to hear them. And I just think everyone should be so vocal about what they have experienced and they've got going on, and not shy back and be like, oh, well, I'm not actually sure if I could say this. And, I just think freedom of speech is so important.
Oh, God,
so many levels, and
no doubt.
I think a lot of the times this whole freedom of speech movement and be careful what you say, it's actually affecting the wrong people. And I think the people that have hate speech or negative speech continue to actively voice it openly. But the people who might have an opinion, but they're not sure, they're like all holding back, scared to offend someone,
Yeah. And also they're looking at, I guess, these experts and these celebrities and these flashy types of individuals and thinking, I have nothing to offer. I mean, this is what people want. No, that's not necessarily what people want. Really, everybody's sitting on a gold mine if they were just to open up their heart and share and be vulnerable, because everyone has a unique story that there is no competition for, that they solely possess it alone. And so they have this incredible thing to offer. But it's going to take a little courage and, a little strength to open up. But once you do, I think you'll find that human connection is super deep, and therefore you're going to feel the biggest joy and biggest payout that you can possibly feel in life. So I feel like you're doing an awesome job. I love what you just said, because it encourages others to, share their story and to identify with the fact that, everybody has one. And all of them are precious because none of them are duplicated. They're all unique.
Yes.
It's awesome.
We're all out here, and if you are someone who's an artist who's not on Beyonce's wage, then you're an artist. Like, I'm sorry, but there's no money. Like, you can be a shit artist who's built their entire career on some fucking marketing team. Excuse my language.
True.
But, and you can actually not have any idea. But then you're sitting there and you're giving expert advice.
Right.
But because you're so-and-so, most of these careers weren't forged on the back of their own doing.
No.
It's a huge team of people. So if someone like you comes in here and you're able to tell me how you've been able to do all these things by yourself, I'm sorry, but that's who I want to speak to. I don't know. That's who I feel I'm going to learn way more from than the experts, in a way.
Bless your sweet beating heart.
Well, look, beyond pom-poms, what's on the horizon for you? What are we going to expect to see from you over the next weeks, months, years?
Well, certainly lots of colorful, dynamic, razzmatazzimal things. I just can't necessarily predict what, but I don't think I'll ever quit, seeking and searching ways to bring smiles and laughter to people's lives. I've got a 10-year-old son, and we're so tight that I can only imagine that as he continues to grow, that we're going to also partner up and do amazing things together, collaborative things. And I think there's some things that we're working on at the moment, too. We're starting to maybe consider putting out there in the public and going in the direction of a Papa-son kind of a scenario.
How precious.
So that might be a big thing on the horizon.
Oh, so he really is taking inspiration from this artist side, yeah?
We both inspire each other so greatly. It just reminds me of a cute little anecdote, because during that sidewalk chalk era of COVID, we did so much that it inspired other artists in the neighborhood to start doing it too. And so we started seeing these other amazing pieces pop up. And so my son and I were walking around one day, and we saw this lady, and she was doing it. And I thought, I think it's her. I told my son. So we walked up to her, and I said, are you the one doing these Disney characters? She's like, yeah. I was like, wow, we really love it. She says, are you the one that made the big Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in the street? I said, yeah. She's like, oh, you inspired me to do it. And I said, wait a second. I said, can you repeat that so my son hears that? And she says, your father inspired us to draw the sidewalk. And he looks at her and says, he inspires everyone. And I was like,
oh my God, Mel. Oh my God.
Wow.
Oh, I can't deal with situations. I'm like awkward. Oh.
So precious.
Oh my God.
So we're super tight, and I think, it's like Ghostbusters, don't cross the streams, but they cross the streams and something incredible happened.
Yeah.
I think my son and I, it's unpredictable as to what it will be. I'm open for whatever it might be, but I think something will certainly come from both of us as a collaborative effort.
You know what? From a parenting aspect, that has kind of created a new perspective for me. Because a lot of us really spend so much time doing things, work, adult, and to even It was only recently I started thinking, maybe I should have one of the kids then do a little podcast with the kids. And I think it's those things. We rarely think about work as something that we should use as a tool to inspire our children. And I think a lot of the times we spend talking badly about work in front of the kids. And there seems to be a lot of this, I need to work. Sorry, I can't. I'm working. And for kids, I think it becomes this wall between them and their parents. And I think that's what instills this negative feeling towards work in us as children. So I have started consciously, whenever I say, oh, I'm sorry, I won't be able to do that with you right now because I have something going on with work. And I see the kids, they're like, oh, yeah, you're very busy with work. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I want to be very busy with work, because it gives me a way to let go of my creative bit. And, and I really kind of give them this little spiel because I think right now, especially your son's age as well, we are kind of in charge of forming how our kids going to feel about the aspect of work going forward.
No doubt.
And if we're in a position where we have some creative, fun thing that we can get them on board with, I think that is so valuable to see you do that. Like, hats off. Honestly. And I think we should all even try and maybe just have little creative projects that we do with our kids.
Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. Yeah. Definitely. Those memory seeds are irreplaceable.
Yes.
Very precious in the garden of your mind. Yeah, plant them if you can.
Do you do pom-pom courses?
Yeah.
Oh, look.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's so therapeutic. I thought maybe like reaching out to the state and seeing if I can get like a grant to do something for adults that are facing burnout, because when I sit down with adults, it's always coming out of their mouth. This is so therapeutic. This is so therapeutic, with this like grin that they can't keep down. And I think there's something really magical.
Yes.
Because again, it's so easy to do. And I suggest to your audience, go online, eBay or Amazon, get a pom-pom maker kit. They're €5. You're going to get 3 different sizes. Go to the dollar store or the Euro store, get a couple skeins of yarn. You're all in for under $10 and you're going to have fun. I guarantee it. Do it.
Plus, look, how lovely are they?
They're so much fun.
I mean, look how beautiful they also are. And I think it's something that's not just fun to create, but I think it's also something you can be proud to display.
Yes.
Right? Because sometimes, I mean, we all know those pottery courses we attend and, or this colouring in stuff that at the end you just put away somewhere. This kind of stuff you can hang up everywhere, It's so beautiful.
I know.
Imagine just a swinging pom-pom in your sitting room.
I think there's something there. Yeah, I mean, I certainly have not had any commercial offers to build one yet, but I think, maybe down the line, there's some sort of concept shop, some sort of thing going on there, because why? I'm happy I have one.
Yeah, absolutely. What advice would you give someone if they're in a position where they say, look, I'm not creative, you know what, I'm just going to leave it?
I say, gosh, that's very tragic that you feel that way, and it's not your fault. I think somebody must have come along in your probably childhood, most likely, and kind of instilled that thought in your mind, because we all are. This whole thing is, I mean, the way I see it, we should be probably hanging out in the mud, like climbing a tree and swinging around and swimming, because this whole thing, whatever, the clothes, the microphone, the chair, it's all imagination. This is not real, ladies and gentlemen. This is a show, and we've built it, and it's a miracle. It's amazing that we've gotten this far, but it's built on imagination, because look at the other species on this planet. What are they up to? You know what I mean? Like, so we've got this incredible way to imagine worlds and universes and all of this stuff, and I feel like it's in all of us. That's our what is it? The gift that we're given when we're born into this world as a human being. It's part and parcel of being human. It's the human experience to have imagination. And so, it's there. It might be locked up, but we can unlock it. It is possible. It's like the horse. I'm going to say, The chains are off.
Yes.
And I get it that you don't feel like they are. You're going to still feel the weight as if they're there, like that ghost weight.
Yeah.
But they're off. Trust me. You can start to move forward. And one day, that little melancholic walk will turn into a little bit of a skip. And then all of a sudden, you're trotting. And then you're near. It's totally within reach. It can happen. I don't care what age you are either. I mean, I remember my grandmother. She was so silent towards the end of her life. We were all like, okay, well, that's grandma, you know? But then she had this crazy turnaround. She had this caretaker who I guess had the words of wisdom. I don't know. But from one like week to the next, she started like coming out of her shell again. And in those last couple of years, she was very filled with joy again as a kid almost. So it's so there. It's built into you.
But it also shows you how one person,
Yes, that's it.
the contact, human connection.
Right. And it comes from places you can't predict. It may not be your best friend or your family.
Yes.
It might be the cashier.
Yes.
Or the bus driver or whatever. So if you have the opportunity to have that connection, make it. And I get it. It's scary because they're probably going to reject you. You know, maybe it's going to likely happen, but not all of them will. And once you start feeling that, you're going to want more. And then, it snowballs after a while.
There's one person, while we're on the subject of human connection, there's one person I worked for, and I didn't work for the person for a long time, but what he taught me and what he introduced me to really changed the entire trajectory of my whole life. And to just be around him and observe how he thinks and looks at different problems, aspects in life. And one thing that I just found, and it really changed how I also act in, we'll say, less important jobs, if that's even a thing. But I remember there was one time he came to me and he said, listen, I want to send you down. There's somebody I want you to get that person's number because I think they have great potential to work for us. I was like, all right, okay. So he basically sent me down to this cafe restaurant, and it was one of the servers there. So he said, can you please go and find out what her name is, her number? So I went in snooping, you know what I mean? And it took a while, and then because I didn't want to be blatantly obvious about it, So eventually I got the number, and the person started working within the business. And I was like, can I ask why? Like, what did you see in that person that made you pick that person out of all the different cafes and places you could go? And he said, the attitude. He said, work, I can teach. The attitude, not so much.
Totally. Yes.
And it doesn't matter where you are. If you're just working in a corner shop, right, and you're doing the same boring thing, right, it's the human interaction with these random people. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they do, where they come from. It's just another person.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a chance that it can be a really irrelevant, boring person, or it could be your next opportunity in life. Yeah. And the only person that controls that is you, yourself, and your attitude and how you speak and interact with other people.
100%. And this is the tragedy with employment these days, where it's all through this system of faceless, emotionless processes where you submit XYZ through the portal and there's no connection. That's why I tell the kids, look, don't wait for an invitation, just go and knock on the door.
Yes.
You'll get so much further if you can just get the eye-to-eye action and try to, do your best to present who you are. Because other than that, it's just so binary. It's so black and white. You don't see or feel anything. And you're going by these qualifications, certifications. And like you said, all of the work can be taught. I don't care what it is. It can be taught. But that's something that is precious and unique. And if you have it and you feel that you're someone that has some precious, unique attitude, personality, thought process, perspective on the world, share it.
Yes.
And not through a submission or a upload. Go and talk to the people if you can, if you have that chance. Make the call, send the email, or just roll up to the door.
Yeah.
you're going to get much further. Yeah, I'm all about that for sure.
So important. And I think a lot of the times we forget that. We focus
totally
more
do.
on our like, oh, I passed this test and I got blazing marks and that. But I think one thing we fail to realize, there are people out there with photographic memory.
Yeah.
And it's super simple for them.
Totally.
And that doesn't make them more intelligent. It doesn't make them more stupid. It just means they have a specific situation going on, and for a job where photographic memory is the ideal thing, that's where they should go. But that doesn't mean that they automatically should be in every job because they're really good at learning stuff.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean? So there's always this aspect and this side of things where I'm a little bit like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we've got everything figured out, you know.
No doubt. And this is why we have to like support these pure hearts out there, you know?
Yes.
Because often at the dark hearts, they're louder, they're seemingly everywhere, but they're not everywhere. We literally have them outnumbered. It's just because of the lightness, we're a little bit sometimes shy or a little bit reserved. We're out there feeling, a little trepidatious about going out, this and that. But get out there. Let's unite, Let's shine bright like the Care Bears or something like that. You know?
But they're literally people working in jobs as well that are very bad at their jobs.
No doubt.
Because their personality just brings and keeps the team together.
100%.
They're like the glue. They're the reason people want to go to that job every day.
Yes.
And these people are unsackable. Like they can go through offenses and terrible job performances all they want, but they're never going to get sacked because they're needed. And I think there's an aspect that we don't focus on as a society, and it's the people that bring the fun, that bring the joy, that bring the motivation to go and show up at work, because you're going to be standing having a little 15-20 minute chat with Joe, about like, this situation and that, and he'll make you laugh. And, it's subconsciously, it becomes one of the reasons you get up and go to work.
100%. And it's going to encourage others to think better and sharper and focus, because we know that making decisions out of anger or fear are not the best decisions that are made. So if you can bring back that sense of feeling that is light and you feel, content in that moment, you're going to be better at problem solving. And that's why the revolution needs us. We don't have to be on the front lines. We have to bring the joy and the smiles and spread the love. And this is going to help those on the front lines make better decisions, be stronger and more apt at solving the problems that we may not be equipped to solve. We're doing what we need to do. And together, as the big picture, we get the job done. So unite.
Unite. In one sentence, what's your ultimate hope for the world?
Ooh, my ultimate hope for the world. Gosh. I suppose, I'm a huge fan of people. I think, the environment's cool, and I think animals are cool, but nothing beats people. So I want people to last forever. So I do think that we might be facing problems with the environment or the economy or so on and so forth, but I don't think any of that gets solved unless the people problem gets solved. So my big hope for the world is for us to have more empathy, not give up on each other, to lift each other up when we're down. And the more we do that, the closer we get to that, I guess, event that we don't know what it's going to feel like, but I do believe in it. And that event is where, there's like the love supreme and like, we're all finally taken care of in a sense, one way or another. And that might take 5,000 years. I don't know. But I do believe in that point, because why not? In smaller controlled environments, it is possible. And we've all known that, whether it's in our family or friend circles or whatever it is. So if we could just expand that out by taking care of each other, feeling empathy towards one another, I would be very impressed with that. That's my hope for the world, is to reach that. But for me in my lifetime and for those I love, I just want them to experience the joy of working towards that.
Yes.
Yes.
I think that's so important. And we have so many opportunities to actually reach out and use this as, like you said, with the NFT community. There's so many communities out there, and so many groups you can partake in. And I think if you have special interests, stop hiding them, stop feeling ashamed. If you're big into singing, start.
100%. Never too late. You don't need any skill set. Just do it. That's the beauty of like punk rock, is that like the emphasis is not on the skills.
Yeah.
It's more about like brave enough to do it.
Yes.
You literally don't even need to know how to play an instrument, but you can pick it up and make punk music in a sense, you know?
Yeah.
So in a sense, like I believe in that spirit, you know, of having that courage to just break on through and start somewhere, start small, baby steps with what is in reach, and then just keep moving forward. Yeah.
Wow. Really, really inspiring.
Yay.
Last question. Do you listen to podcasts at all?
I do.
Oh, go on.
Yeah.
Which are the ones that inspired you the most or like changed your life or perspectives the most?
Good question. I think this is for me personally very satisfying. The Kill Tony podcast.
Oh,
you know
yeah. I know Kill Tony. Yeah, I do. Yes.
I've been listening to that for a number of years, and for me, the joy I find there is that it keeps me like with my finger on the pulse in a sense.
Yeah.
Because, you know, out here, I don't really connect with that kind of spirit of like obnoxious, crazy humor.
Yes.
Without any barriers or boundaries.
So important.
It's nice to tap into that and to just, you know, hear what's going on. So it's definitely inspiring to me. It keeps me in the loop.
Yes.
It keeps me, I guess, with my finger on the pulse in a sense, you know.
I think that's so important that we're not looking at that as well. And I'll be really honest, I openly say I'm a big fan of the Joe Rogan podcast as well, for example.
Yeah.
I love the segment, the Protect Our Parks segment. I don't know if you've heard of that,
sure,
where they all get together, And I just, one thing, like, do I sit there? Do I agree with everything they say, all the jokes they make? No. Do I get offended? No. I sit there and I realize what it is. It's a form of art. And I think America are still, especially American comedians, they're still by far at the top of this freedom of expression and really joking around and saying things without this constant, oh, is that acceptable? Who could that offend? And I think it's understanding that comedy is a thing of its own. Yeah, there are jokes that are shite, and if it's a crap joke, then you won't get the reception you're hoping for.
Absolutely.
But if it's a joke, it's a joke.
No doubt.
Like...
Right. And guess what? They are offensive. That is true.
Yes. Every joke almost, there's always someone who's offended.
No doubt. And if you're really offended by a joke, then don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Hey, the other jokes that make you laugh, they only exist because of that. Like, we can't have one or the other. For me, American comedians are on the front lines of freedom of speech, defending it.
Yeah.
You know, this fearless approach of speech.
Yeah.
And some of it doesn't hit, and some of it's maybe awful even. But we need that ability to think on the fly, not filter, because that's what freedom of speech is.
Yes.
Freedom of speech is not like calculating and being methodical about your speech. Freedom of speech is, you know, speaking as you're thinking.
Yes.
That's true freedom of speech. And if you do that, speak as you think, shit's not going to always be like... prim and proper.
Well, I think a lot of people, what they're doing is they're abusing comedy to just offend someone and then say, oh, I'm joking.
Right.
No, that's not a joke.
And that's not even comedy.
Just saying you're fat is not a joke. Like, that's just pointing out the obvious.
Right.
And I think that's where a lot of people get it confused between like, no, you're just literally offending someone. And no, you've actually sat down, you've crafted some like different, you know, through pictures, imagery, words. You've really gone and created something that like you can't help but laugh, you know.
That's why it's important to know someone's intentions, you know, at the end of the day, if you're going to prosecute, you know, because if the intention is truly to make an effort to make someone laugh, that's comedy.
Yes.
Even if it makes no one laugh, it's comedy. But if that intention is not to make someone laugh, like you said, you're fat. If it's if the intention is to be mean, well, that's not comedy.
No.
You know, if it was truly rooted in your wish to make that person laugh, and it didn't hit, okay, it's comedy.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know that from the you know, the product.
Yeah.
It's like intuition, and maybe you have to ask sometimes. But that's what comedy is. It's that true wish deep down inside. I hope this makes them laugh, blah, and you say it. So it takes, you know, you got to be brave.
There are a lot of American comedians that are really pushing the boundaries, and I love to see it.
Yeah.
I love to see it. People who are literally just getting cancelled left, right and centre and are saying, that's just the way it is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Such is life. And I think
is.
We all have to be cancelled. I think the sign of success is to be cancelled at some stage or another, you know?
I think so too, because in this era of the internet, you know, if your voice or your product or your service is literally being seen by that vast of a crowd with so many different backgrounds, if nobody's offended by that, then what are you really even doing or saying? It's going to be hard to not be offensive to somebody. Somebody's going to be offended.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's life. We're all different. We all feel differently. And some of us are going to be offended by things that we would otherwise think are great. Peachy keen.
Yeah. And I think, unfortunately, that is stopping a lot of people also
Exactly.
from continuing their expression. They upload something. And I'll be really honest, I had a video go viral at the beginning of the year. And it was a short video where I spoke about the background of the Las Ketchup song, I Say. And it's basically a song that's actually based on Rapper's Delight. You know, that old kind of hip-hop song. So what the story is about is actually Diego Maradona, you know, the footballer.
No.
Oh, it's a huge story. So this footballer goes into a club and he's drunk, really drunk. So he goes in and he wants to listen to his favorite song. So he goes up to the DJ and he asks for this song, Rapper's Delight, to be played. And because he's so drunk, he's unable to actually sing the lyrics. So he goes, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the actual, so that's the song. So I did this video. I was just sitting with a friend and I recorded it. And it just a short clip explaining the song. And it blew up. And I mean, I got death threats.
Why though? I'm not getting it.
I don't get it either, Joe. People told me I should go hang myself.
Why?
You know? Oh yeah.
For what? Why? Because you were hip hop, hippity hippity hip hop.
Because
I don't get
just I don't know. Me just sitting there, saying what I'm saying, explaining this story. Something triggered a couple of people.
Crazy.
Right? Now, I have no control over that whatsoever.
Yeah.
I can't. All I can do is put a piece of information, a story, whatever, with my best intentions out there. And what happens when, especially if something goes viral, you lose all control.
True.
Because all of a sudden it gets shown to people who you would never show it to because you already know, oh, they don't like my stuff or whatever it is, right? And all of a sudden you're there and everybody gets to have an opinion anonymously. And it's crazy, right?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Because you're just sitting there and it's like, hold on a minute, that's not what I was saying. Why are you taking that out of context? And all of a sudden you're just sitting there. And having that experience makes me understand the media world more, and it makes me understand a lot of aspects differently. But also, shockingly, it's understanding that people will just sometimes be angry no matter what you do.
This is it. And this is why somebody like Joe Rogan can be so polarizing when, in effect, he's probably the most reasonable person to sit down and talk to.
100%.
He literally anybody can talk to that guy.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not like you even need to have a thick skin or something like that.
No.
He's just a reasonable guy.
And
he has his opinions that, like you said, nobody's all going to agree with every single thing he thinks or says, but he's reasonable. He's not going to push you off a cliff or you know, anything. Like, you're safe in his company. But yeah, there's going to be a whole swath of people that think he's dangerous and toxic.
It's like, yeah, but people don't. Those are the people that don't actually listen to this podcast.
They must not.
No,
I guess
they don't.
not.
They
just
don't.
cling on
They
to that
don't.
one thing, that
yeah.
trigger thing that happened to them where they got upset, and that's it. And now it's like, we got to ban him or whatever. Like, why?
Well, there was one.
It's just a reasonable guy talking.
I remember I said I liked the podcast, and so we said, how can you like it? Joe Rogan doesn't like fat people. And I was like,
that's so stupid.
I'm like, no, that's not what he's just saying it's not healthy. Like, you know what I mean?
That's all.
He's just giving a fact and saying, like, you know, for example, if there's some virus going around, whatever it is, and you're not healthy, there's a chance, like, try and be healthy. But again, these things get construed and people then, oh, no, I don't like him because he said this and that and the other. So I think it's hard. I think we need to know what we want to do with our lives, what art we want to produce, and I think we need to put it out there regardless and despite of what feedback we get from people, especially ones that have no profile picture in their account and 2 followers.
Agreed.
Right? Those ones, just bin them. Don't even look at them, you know? And it's not about just getting positive feedback, but it's about respectful feedback and not someone telling you should go do yourself in because you shared a story.
Yes, my God, please pay no mind to those voices. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Think about it. If he did, he'd probably already have jumped off the cliff years ago. I mean, the hate he gets.
Imagine.
You know? Obviously, he's not tuning into it because he's seemingly a very healthy, happy guy.
Well, look, right? And I think it's hard for creators at the start because his big thing is don't read the comments.
Smart.
Which 100%.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree. Mm-hmm. But he also has the money and the privilege to not read the comments.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And if I had somebody doing my social media, I wouldn't read the comments either, right? Because I know somebody else is and somebody else is doing damage control, right? But I think if you're a creator at the start of your journey, you need to be in those comments.
For sure.
It is your space and you have responsibility of guiding a community. Mm-hmm. There's a community that is your followers. They are on your account. And when they're on your account, they expect that it's also a safe place for them. So I think you need to be in there moderating. Mm-hmm. You need to make sure that what comments are coming in, they're not offending anyone. And, there is a responsibility you carry, especially at the start of building a foundation, our followers, our community. Mm. And I think if you get to a certain stage, definitely don't read the comments, right? And as soon as you're monetized or whatever it is, or you have somebody doing your social media, let them do that. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, do read the comments at the start and reply, because that's how you build a community. And again, deeper human connection.
Yes.
I also feel that a lot of these people who are in the comments, they are looking for a connection.
Yeah.
Right? And if you can somehow just give them a little reply, right? A little, thanks for your comment, or great input, or wow, how thoughtful. That's going to change their day, right? Because it might be the only interaction they have that day with somebody.
100%.
Right?
Yes, 100%. That's the other thing that's exciting, just a real quick double back to the NFT thing. All these artists in these remote areas, these developing countries, they have these pieces of art for sale for $1 or $2. It blows them up. It makes their month if somebody buys that piece of art.
Wow.
So it's like, it's the same thing you're talking about with the comment. It's don't take for granted the joy, the feeling that you can give someone with a second's worth of work or $1 or $2, like don't ignore that potential. There's something that's like, bubbling up under the surface. And if it breaks free, it can be something beautiful and you can be a part of that. You can be a contributor to that.
Quick question, right? And I know this is not an NFT thing, but if you're looking for is there a place where you can look for NFT art? Is there like an NFT marketplace or is there something like that?
There are certainly many, and it's not definitely at the moment super easy to like transition into that world. It's not so obvious as to how to do it. But if you're interested, you can reach out to me and I'll explain how you can get there. It would be very boring to the general population for me to talk about that, but it is possible. And within just a couple hours, you can be sitting in a situation where you can do what I just said, which is blow up the spot of people in these developing countries and really kind of feel good.
Do send me a link. I want to know because I want to do that. I want to buy a little bit of art. I'm kind of working on a project. I want to change the look a little bit, and what I'm trying to do is I want to put up pictures and art on the back as well. So I suppose artists have a chance to display their art or something, or things like that.
I'm so kicking myself because now I wish I would have brought some art. I have these screen prints. I'll mail one to you.
Oh yes, please. So that will go up too. I need to collect a couple first. But I was actually speaking to her about it the other day, and I said, look, I want to get rid of the curtains, and I want to put up paintings and pictures of artists that have even been on the podcast or whatever, or people that just come out of the area or whatever it is. So yes, please, I would really like that.
Well, I trust your vision because I think you've done a great job.
Thank you
if
very
you're going
much.
to transition away from that, I think it's going to only be better. I mean, this is really lovely. I think you've done such a great job.
Thank you so much.
It's so cozy and charming.
It feels like a sitting room, and that's kind of the vibe I want to go for. I want it to be like a comfortable kind of, comfortable as you can get with cameras pointing at you from all angles.
Cozy.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, brilliant, Joe. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for giving me insights and your experience, what you have done so far, where your journey is heading. I'm super excited to watch you.
Thank you so much. And
see.
you know, so much thanks to you. Thank you for inviting me into your community. It gives me the opportunity to potentially meet new people, and who knows what can happen of that. And that unpredictable thing is very exciting for me. So thank you.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think you're doing
there are a lot of
amazing
things
work.
happening. There are a lot of things happening on my side too. And like I said, back to this whole subject of finding people who have that kind of mindset and energy and vibe. I think for me, this is also a way to build a network, to build a little group of people who I like to have over, like to, share thoughts and ideas with and stuff. So I'm super excited to also kind of have you in that bag now as well, Joe. And there'll be a couple of events that we'll probably want to see a couple of pom-poms at,
Yay!
Putting it that way.
Well, I'm all for that. Yeah.
This is super exciting. And no doubts we'll have to do this again. This is not a one-off.
Yay.
I already see us sitting here again next year after the whole Berlin pom-pom situation.